Welcome to the Skeptic Zone, the podcast from Australia for science and reason.
Hello and welcome to the Skeptic Zone, episode number 415 for the 2nd of October 2016. Richard Saunders here with you from Sydney, Australia. Looking out the window, what a nice sunny day it is. And all you people in New South Wales enjoying the long weekend, and maybe other parts of Australia too, I'm not sure. Well, I hope the Skeptic Zone can maybe, keep you company on your drive back. And what an interesting show we have for you this week. Coming up, my interview with an old friend of mine, Dr. Lynne Kelly, who has just released a book through Allen and Unwin called The Memory Code. The Memory Code, and as they say, available at all good book outlets and online. The Memory Code, and we've discussed this before on the Skeptic Zone. In fact, I've interviewed Lynne about this, just a couple of years ago. It's a subject that's not causing waves in the world of academia and ancient history. It's causing tsunamis. It really is. It's astonishing. It's a revolution, you might say. Well, that's how it's appearing, and like any good skeptic, Lynne has put her work up for other people in the field to attack it, to see if there are holes in the plot, so to speak. And so far, it's standing up very well. What's it all about? How our ancestors in ancient cultures and other cultures around the world remembered things without a written language. And not just mundane everyday things. They remembered a staggering amount of vital knowledge, family history, when to plant crops, where this animal lives, all sorts of things. It's a fascinating book, and as I say, it's creating tsunamis throughout the world of ancient history and academia. Join me in a few minutes when I have a quick chat to Lynne Kelly about this book, and incidentally we'll be giving away a signed copy of Lynne Kelly's book, The Memory Code, at the upcoming Skeptic Zone Live. More details a bit later on in the show. Then after the break, it's a little skeptical road trip. We jump into the Skeptic Mobile. Maynard, myself, our good friends Lara and Jessica, and we head off to Cilia for the Australian Paranormal and Spiritual Expo. Now, it does skeptics good every now and then to go along to one of these. You'll often hear us talking about the Mind, Body, Spirit or Mind, Body, Wallet Expo. In fact, there's one coming up very soon, towards the end of this month or very early next month in Sydney. I think I'll be certainly going along to that. It does skeptics good because the last thing we want to be are armchair skeptics. We need to get out there and see what's really going on and speak to these people, which is exactly what Maynard does today. He speaks to people at the Paranormal Expo to get their point of view, their opinions, and for us, it's a way to look inside their minds. Why do they think this? How do they think this? What's led them to these conclusions? It's a fascinating look. You're almost like being voyeurs into the mind. And we bump into a skeptic along the way, Peter Bowditch from Australian Skeptics, and we're at bags.com. He'll be there. Maynard also catches up with Pete Banks, who runs the expo. Alex Cayas is there, and he swings by the Sci Paranormal Ghost Hunters table. Chats to Larraine, Cilia, the president of the UFO and Paranormal Society, and also Kerrie McGilvray, who has a crystal healing bed. No, not for healing crystals. The claim is it heals people. And thanks to Lara and Jess, who are great company on the trip. Now, before we get stuck into the show, an update. An update from last week. I think we brought you this story about the film festival in Castlemaine, or Castlemaine, as they say, in Victoria, that were going to show the film Vaxxed by Andrew Wakefield. Now, due to very negative publicity, they said they would withdraw the movie from the festival, which they did. Then we discovered it was scheduled then to be shown a week earlier at the cinema. Now that's been withdrawn as well. Now, of course, your one-stop shop for information about this is Reasonable Hank at reasonablehank.com. Lots of detailed information there. But it's interesting to me that just the other day on a local radio station in that part of the world, Main FM, David Thrussell, who is the director of the film festival in question, I don't know if he still is, but he was, appeared on this afternoon, I assume, a morning chat show to give his point of view. They also played the entire trailer for Vaxxed, which was a bit of a free kick for the movie, I suppose. But it's interesting because David Thrussell made the following claims on radio, which I'd like to address quickly. He said that every cynic or critic of the film that he'd heard of or read had not actually seen the film. This is, of course, ridiculous. I, for one, have sat through the damn thing twice, and we'll get to that in a minute. More importantly, our friend David Gorski has sat through it and wrote a very good critique takedown of the movie, and I'll be linking to that in the show notes, or if you go to sciencebasedmedicine.org, you can certainly find it there. He also implies in the interview that the critics of the film, especially here in Australia, had funding from people with deep pockets, or words to that effect. Conspiracy theory, no shock there. And he also says that the movie is not anti-vax. It's only about one vaccine that causes autism, that being the MMR, which leads us to wonder if he himself has really actually seen the movie. Or if he did watch it, was he sort of texting or Facebooking at the same time and sort of missed the key points? Now, as I said, I have seen the movie twice. It's available on YouTube. If you really want to have a look for it, it's there. It's not hiding. It's not secret. It's not locked away. If people really want to see it, they can. They don't have to go to a film festival. But so to this claim that the movie is not anti-vax. At 10 minutes and 23 seconds into the film, Del Bigtree says, quote, "Thousands and thousands of parents, all telling the same story. My child got a vaccine, usually the MMR vaccine, and then that night or the next day broke out into a fever, and then when they came out of the fever, lost speech, lost the ability to walk. Basically regressed into what we know as autism and never came back." Well, the implication is clear here. When he says, "My child got a vaccine, usually the MMR vaccine," usually, meaning, of course, other vaccines. At 31 minutes and 40 seconds, Polly Tommy says, quote, "The parents had exactly the same story as us. Antibiotics, some with chickenpox, a lot. Vaccine. Bang. The symptoms were all the same. The diarrhea, the constipation, the high-pitched scream, the banging of the head. We've all lived through it. It's the same story," end quote. Polly Tommy again, quote, "Out there, there's millions of me's. There's millions of Polly Tommies with vaccine-damaged children," end quote. At 52 minutes and 4 seconds, Stephanie Seneff, PhD, says, quote, "I became interested in autism a long time ago when my best friend at the time had a son who was diagnosed with autism following the DPT shot. He had a high fever after the shot, seizures a week later, and then was later diagnosed with autism," end quote. DPT is diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus. At 55 minutes into the movie, a variety of clips of parents with stories of what they claim are vaccine-damaged children. They repeat the message over and over again, quote, "Hear this well," end quote. Also, there is a video montage of over 500 faces. Many, if not all, however, are just repeated on the page to give the illusion of many people, chanting, quote, "Vaccines cause autism," end quote. At 1 hour, 13 minutes and 24 seconds into the movie, a video is played courtesy of the Canary Party, which implies clearly that vaccines cause autism. So much for the claims made on Main FM radio by David Thrussell. But as I said before, if you really want to find out more information about the story behind this story, head to reasonablehank.com. Some of the online postings by people behind the push to get this movie put out are quite disturbing. Now, there are a few more loose ends to tie up, but I'll get to that at the end of this episode. But for now, it's time for me to run downstairs, run out the door, run down to the local shops and see if I can buy a nice serving of falafel. Haven't had that for a while. While I do that, I hope you enjoy the Skeptic Zone. I remember that. Do you remember that music?
Is it the Sullivans or something?
No, it's Song for Guy by Elton John.
Oh, right. I've got not a very musical brain.
Not a musical brain, but you have got a brain, Lynne Kelly. It's delightful to see you once again. You're up here in Sydney to give a talk for the Skeptics tonight about your latest book. Very exciting. It's a wonderful book, and wow, has it been creating waves. How's that all going?
It's going extremely well. It's especially among the science community, but it's already causing quite a stir, and I'm delighted.
Yeah, look, you're beaming. Of course, the book is The Memory Code. How long has that been out now?
It's only been out a few months, but it's been in the pipeline. I've been talking to skeptics and having them polish the theories for nearly 10 years now.
Wow.
So it's lovely to be back among skeptics again, because that's where I belong.
You sort of... It really takes a big chunk of your life, doesn't it, putting together such a body of work?
This did, because it wasn't what I intended to do. I had quite a simple project for my PhD, another science book, and I had no idea that I would stumble over a new theory for the purpose of Stonehenge and a new analysis of the way Indigenous cultures memorise information, and that meant... Partly it became an obsession, but it meant I had to go down the formal academic path, the formal academic book, before I could go public, because it has to be tested against other people.
Yeah, well, we're talking about standard scientific scepticism, aren't we?
Absolutely. And if you're going to say I've solved the mystery of Stonehenge, you have to have it independently tested, because I was full of self-doubt. I mean, why would I have seen something that others hadn't?
Yeah.
But the Stonehenge experts say that's because partly I'm Australian and we have an Indigenous culture to learn from, and secondly, because I've got such a bad natural memory, I started asking the questions, well, how the hell do they memorise all this stuff?
It's a wonderful point. It's a wonderful point. And in the book, there's a section where you talk about memorising a deck of cards.
Yeah.
And that seems somewhat as a parlour trick, but it does make a really good point, doesn't it?
Yes, if you give a character to each of the cards, then the parlour trick is a shuffled deck. You make up a story and can remember the order. I can't do anything fast. But my deck of cards, I use two of them, 130 cards all up, because I use a tarot deck as well, gives me a set of characters, and that's what mythology is a set of characters whose stories they act out. They're extremely vivid, vulgar, grotesque, over the top, because that makes information memorable.
It does, yeah. Because we all remember stories from childhood. All of us remember the story of Little Red Riding Hood or Hansel and Gretel, and the list is endless, because we heard these stories when we were kids and they stuck.
And the facts you learnt at school, how many do you recall of those? But if Little Red Riding Hood talked about, I'll get away from the wolf if I eat the red berry, but don't eat the blackberry because it'll kill you, that sort of thing. And that's what mythology does. It encodes rational information in vivid stories.
But you explain it so wonderfully well, and we're looking forward to the talk tonight, of course. And folks, coming to Skeptics in the Pub here in Sydney on the 6th of October, we'll be giving away a copy of your book, Lynne. We'll be giving it as a special prize, so that might be an extra incentive. Lynne, where can people find out more about your book?
It's available at every bookshop. Be published in the UK and US in February, and then in Czech and Chinese. Those rights have been sold already. And it's
Czech and Chinese?
Yes, they're the first foreign translation rights, but also my website. If you spell my name correctly in Google, you get straight to my website.
Well, of course, it'll be in the show notes, but that's exciting to think that your work's being translated. And you always have to, in the back of your mind, I think you'd probably wonder, I wonder how the translation is. I wonder if it's a good translation or they're missing bits and pieces.
You can't know. The Skeptic's Guide was, the Skeptic's Guide to the Paranormal was translated into Russian. It looks lovely.
It's one of your early books.
Yes, and I can see my name, but I have no idea what the rest says. But, to get your words out there is just... it just feels wonderful.
I'm sure it does. Well, Lynne, congratulations once again on the book, and we better head in because I think they're just about to call for dinner.
Okay, thanks, Richard.
The Skeptic Zone Live, a special live recording of this very podcast at the Occidental Hotel in Sydney, just near Wynyard Station, 43 York Street. This is part of Skeptics in the Pub. Join me and the Skeptic Zone crew for live reports and interviews. Prize giveaways on the night. Everybody's welcome, but for more information and to reserve your place, visit meetup.com/AUST Skeptics. There will be a link in this week's show notes. See you there at the Skeptic Zone live Thursday, the 6th of October, at the Occidental Hotel, starting around 6 p.m.
Here's Maynard's spooky action at a distance.
It's a pretty special day here on the Skeptic Zone. Richard Saunders is driving, the Skeptic Mobile. He used to have a Batmobile with Skeptic written on the side of it. It was fantastic. He wore a cape. But now it's the Hyundai of Truth.
Hyundai of Truth.
Hyundai of Truth. Yes. And we're on the way to the Casula Powerhouse because we're really into AC power generation for a start. I can't get enough of it. But Richard, you're going to go there and your job today is to completely harsh people's mellow and make them cry.
My mission today is to go to this paranormal expo and just wreck everybody's day being a really bad skeptic.
I love it when people give you the evil eye. That's great. Like you walk past and they go, that's that guy that said the bad thing about the psychics.
It's true, actually. No, of course, we're not out there to wreck anybody's day, but last time we were there, the Skeptics had a table, an information table, which was good, and a woman came up and basically abused us for online harassment. And you get people like that who cannot understand the skeptical point of view at all.
Yeah, but, I mean, it is a day where you've got to check a bit of that at the door when you go in.
Well, I do. I mean, this is... people like to paint skeptics in a very cartoon fashion, put us into a pigeonhole. I mean, I don't go to these things to wreck people's day and to complain and make a fuss. Although, having said that, once or twice I will if I think something is particularly dangerous, like people selling water for suntan lotion, for example, which I've seen.
Look, again, I point you to the Dirty Disbelievers. There was only 6 or 7 episodes made, and we had an episode where we called it Don't Harsh My Mellow Man, and it was all about at what point do you intervene with people, and I guess if they're selling something that's going to cause cancer, yes.
You have to realise that, by and large, arguing with people at these things is of very little value, but sometimes you have to speak up, absolutely, yeah.
And sometimes you have to bring extra people in case your yelling's not loud enough. We've got 2 other people in the Hyundai of Truth. Who have we got here?
Jessica.
And Lara.
And how long have you been in the skeptical movement or of a skeptical nature?
Probably since about 2009, following all the podcasts and stuff, but I think I've had a skeptical nature since I was young. It was encouraged by my dad.
Okay. Is it because you're a teacher that you're more skeptical?
No, I don't think it is really, because in the past I was actually, I did believe a lot of the stuff which I now find laughable. So it's probably not.
Like what? What one?
Oh no, all of it. Yeah, no, I'm highly embarrassed to say, yeah. lots of it. I think it was after watching the X-Files when I was younger.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look, and that disappointing last episode on the last season, I really didn't like that.
I didn't watch the last few series, I have to say.
Oh, it was good except for the last episode there. So what are you going to be on the lookout for today?
So I'm quite interested in energy healing, all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to see what they've got on offer there. If it's not too expensive, I might pay up for one just for interest's sake. We'll see how we go.
Okay, and what's your bugbear?
I've not been to one of these before, and I honestly am not sure what to expect. So I'm just going to kind of take everything in, see how things go.
Are you a very patient person? Do you reckon you'll be able to put up with much?
100%, yeah. I'm a teacher, so I'm very, very patient, yeah. Just want to take it all in. I'm excited to see this boo buddy that we've just discovered, the teddy bear.
Tell us about it.
Teddy bear, which apparently can sense if there's ghosts and talk to them, but I'm not too sure about the details, so I'll go and ask them about that when we get there.
Look, I'll of course, I don't normally talk to the people who are getting the psychic readings because they tend to be very serious, the people that are going to get psychic readings, so I might stay away from them unless there's some, people that are having a bit of a giggle and a laugh because they all seem very serious. I will probably spend a bit of time with the sky watchers, the people that have a lot of time filming with night vision cameras out west of Sydney and see various interesting things, and also there'll be a lot of ghost hunters and there'll be a lot of technology on sale. You'll see a spirit box. Have you seen a spirit box before?
No, what's a spirit box?
It's sort of like a random channel selector. So it'll go up and down the electromagnetic frequency, stopping every once in a while and making a noise. And you can often infer some sort of speech pattern from it, because indeed some of the things it stops on are AM and FM radio stations.
In fact, Maynard, you and I came across one of these spirit boxes a couple of years ago when we did a ghost tour, which we recorded for the Skeptic Zone. But just for the benefit of listeners right now, let me edit in an example of the spirit box.
Can somebody give us their name? Is that you, Steve? Is everyone okay that we're here?
So there you go. It's like a radio which is quickly changing channels. Yeah.
And I think it would be quite prone to audio pareidolia.
Ah, good old audio pareidolia, yes. Look it up, folks.
So I'm going to go and check that out there, and I'm hoping that there's some new stuff there. I'm really hoping there's going to be some new development in the world of ghost hunting or something like that.
What, a ghost, do you mean?
Yeah.
That would be new.
Well, the thing is, some of the spirit boxes can actually... You have a Class A or a Class B, C or D EVP, electronic voice phenomenon. Yeah.
Well,
hang on. Are you saying that EVP is not a real thing, Richard? Are you saying that people in the other realm that have passed over can't manipulate the electromagnetic frequency?
I don't have to. You've just said it.
Oh, look, we haven't even got inside the powerhouse for the Great Expo today, and we've already met someone who's... Shh. And we're talking about EVPs and voice boxes earlier in the car, and you've actually had a positive experience with some other entity. Would you like to explain what you got from the spirit box?
Well, I was actually in Nevada, and we went to Good Springs, Nevada, where Carol Lombard used to live with... if anybody realises, she's actually Clark Gable's wife, and she'd just done a charity event, and they didn't know whether she wanted to fly home or she wanted to catch a train home, and they decided to toss a coin, and they decided that the plane was the way they were going to go, and it was late at night, and the plane crashed into the mountains behind Good Springs, Nevada, killing on board Carol Lombard and her mother, and leaving Clark Gable without a wife. And in this bar in Good Springs, Nevada, they have a lot of paranormal events happening there, and they brought out a voice box, and we actually got to talk to her. And Carol Lombard came through and was asking me different questions about who I was and why my voice was funny, because it did not sound normal. And she didn't like me. She didn't want to talk to me.
And how hard was it to understand? Because a spirit box chops and changes a lot. There's a lot of white noise. All right, so it was actually quite clear.
Quite clear. And she was quite interesting. And then we had another one come through, and we actually had these little boxes that actually go across. And if it goes across to red, it actually has somebody there. And they've actually got one of these particular entities there. We're not sure who she is. She's a lady, an old barmaid that used to come, and she didn't like me. She kept moving my glass.
The spirits don't seem to get on with you.
Well, I was Australian, they're American.
Oh,
what more can you say?
Your voice would have sounded funny.
Yes, so it was very interesting, and we actually went out and we walked through Good Springs because it's one of the most haunted towns in Nevada, and got a lot of orbs coming up. And there's actually a house there that there's a grumpy old ghost there, and he doesn't like people. And
have you ever met any spirits that do seem to get on well with people?
Well, I've actually got a spirit in my house.
Oh, okay. Well,
so
that'd really spook me. Oh, and by the way, what are you looking forward to today at the Expo? Is there something?
Seeing different things and trying. My husband wants me to get me a Boo Bear.
A boo, and now we're looking at that at the car now. That is a bear that detects anomalies.
It detects anomalies, and it takes. It actually, when I read up on it, actually, if it detects an anomaly, as you would call it, it actually asks you questions and who it is and why it's there. So
yeah, that could be a bit freaky. I mean, someone like me, I haven't got a strong, nervous condition when it comes to this kind of thing. That'd freak me out.
I'm actually partially psychic as well.
Oh, okay.
And I can actually smell dead people.
Oh, I was about to say, are you clairaudient, but you smell that? That's okay. So
Yeah,
what messages can you get that way? Because I imagine being dead, the smell would not be a good thing.
Well, it's really, to tell you the truth, I was in Tasmania on a ghost tour, and we went
That's the place to go for it.
Yeah, we were in the old courthouse, and they've got this room that they all send the people into to try and scare them first. And I don't fall for those things anymore. And so we were waiting outside, waiting for the girls to all scream because, this is the toilet where everybody, got entities in there. And then we walked into where the old judge used to be before he went to court. And as I walked in through the door, I got the smoke of a pipe and tobacco pipe. And it had just been lit up. And I went back out and I said to the lady, I said, did the judge used to smoke a pipe? And she said, how did you know that? And I said to her, well, he's just lit up the tobacco pipe. And she goes, oh, can you tell me where he used to be? And I said to her, yes, on the lounge chair over there. She goes, how do you know that? I said, because I felt his heartbeat under my hand. And then we went into another room, into the court, and as we were going into the court, I got this overpowering smell of lavender. And I said to this woman, I don't like your perfume, please go away. And she said, I'm not wearing any. And I went, oh, okay. And her daughter said, my mother doesn't wear any perfume, she's allergic to it. And so I had lavender, and then once I went to the courthouse, he lit up the pipe again. Oh. So it's a very unusual to have because it can be, it's not easy to detect the smells. And a lot of people have told me it's a very unique thing to have when ghosts are available.
It certainly is. Well, thanks for sharing your stories with us, and have a good day here. It's only just getting going.
Yes, have a good day yourselves.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Bye-bye. Oh, look, and we're outdoors right now at the Cilia Powerhouse. Now, what stall have we got here?
This is the API stall, Australian Paranormal Phenomenon Investigators. Cool. We run the Expo.
Oh, right.
Yep.
Now, you've got a great day for it, and it's only early and people are here already.
That's it. It's a beautiful day for it, isn't it?
It is really nice. Now, we were just looking at a couple of the, tools of the ghost hunting trade here. Of course, there's spirit boxes over there, but there's a laser here that throws down a bit of a pattern. So it's not just a solid beam. How would you describe it?
It's a light beam that gets dispersed by a lens into a pattern which you can change by twisting the little head at the end of the grid.
Okay. Yep. So how would you use it on a hunt?
So you'd sit in a long dark corridor at night, and you'd shoot the grid down the corridor, and it'll create a grid of lights. And if there's an anomaly or a spirit that can break the light, it'll obviously disrupt the grid, and so you'll know that something is in the space with you if the light gets disrupted.
And also, if you're taking a photo, you've actually got a pattern, you've got a scale to see how big it is.
Absolutely, yeah.
Of course, there's always the odd rogue skeptic wandering around. Who have we got here?
This is Peter Bowditch. I'm odd. What is it?
I don't know. You're looking. You've got your loud shirt on there. You're just hanging around. Now, you've already done a circuit here. I haven't got around to doing the circuit yet. What have you seen that might be a little bit different? Because you've seen a lot of these things over the years.
There's not a lot here that I haven't seen before. What I do like about this show, say compared to the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival, is that there don't appear to be any faith healers here.
Oh, okay. This sort of thing tends to be a bit of a blowout for the ghost hunting community.
Yes. There seem to be fewer here than there were last year. Last year we got about 4 or 5 ghost hunting organisations here. One of whom actually said to me, I saw you on television, and I thought, God, this man must be psychic. That was years ago.
Are you very good at holding back your saying anything to these people?
I actually find I have no problem with this sort of thing. Seriously. Most of this is just harmless fun. Like I say, I have trouble with the faith healers and the people like that you find at some other shows. I have trouble with psychics that talk nonsense, and there was one last year where I walked out of his talk when he was contacting the spirit of somebody who died only about 2 weeks ago and reduced an audience member to tears. And I thought, I couldn't put up with that. But most of it here is just pure good fun. It's I love crystals. They're interesting things to look at.
And lots of soap and lots of wax.
That's right, yes. And candles that smell nice.
Yes. Well, look, I might get along there and have a bit of a look there and enjoy your day. It's a nice day for it,
It's a beautiful day, yes.
Look, I'm really hoping one of these days I'll bump into Eric von Daniken. Well, folks, I'm at the organising table where they've got lollipops and water and an ATM not too far away if you want to put some illegal bets on this afternoon.
That's right. That's what the Expo's all about.
And who have we got here and how's your day been?
Yeah, this is Alex, and I'm from Ghosts of Oz and Paracon Australia, and it's been great. Off to a great start.
I've got to say, Paracon, I know it's a big thing to put on and a difficult thing to put on, but every time I go along, I really enjoy it.
Awesome. Awesome.
I mean, it's mainly because of the people you meet there. Like, I really enjoyed the one you had with Damien Knott talking about the whole UFO thing, and I think Travis Walton was on that one. Was that this year or last year?
So Damien has spoken the last 2 years, but Travis was 2015. Yeah.
Look, it was really good. I just enjoyed the way it just took off. We were all sitting in the room, and they said, "Okay, who's had a close encounter of the first kind, second kind?" They went all the way through the fifth kind, and it was wild, and no one was going, "Oh, come on!" Everyone was just going with it.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere for people just to share their ideas and experiences in that way, much like the Expo here today.
Yeah, this is a bit of a blowout for the ghost hunting community. And look, what's been the most exciting thing here this year for you? Is there something new on the scene?
Yeah, so this year the Expo guys, they're running free workshops as well, as well as the VIP program. But have you checked out the VIP program, because they've got some really cool stuff in there?
Okay, well, I might pop in there in a little while. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm going to get down there and get amongst it. And plus, everything just smells so good here.
Oh, well, that's me.
Look, and we're here with some ghost hunters. Which group are you?
With Sci Paranormal.
And where do you normally work out of? What's your beat?
So we usually do run ghost tours in Campbelltown and occasionally Picton as well.
Okay. Is that a really spooky area? Has that got a really spooky history?
Yeah, absolutely. Both of those towns are actually quite haunted, and they do have a lot of history as well, particularly Campbelltown with Fred Fisher. He's one of the, I guess, main attractions of that town, yeah.
Okay. Now, I've been pointed to you. Oh, what's your name, by the way?
I'm Jessica.
Jessica, I've been pointed to you because you are the EVP expert, which stands for Electronic Voice Phenomenon. Now, I believe there's even classes of EVPs. You can have an A, B, C or D class EVP. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. So,
and how does that work out?
Okay, so Class A EVPs are usually the sort of high-quality EVPs that are quite rare to get. They're not the easiest ones to obtain, so when you do get them, you just got to hold on to those ones.
Have you ever had one?
Yeah, I do. There's a few there that I've got as an example of Class A EVPs.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, but normally there's a lot of white noise surrounding what you're recording because the levels, it's a very, very quiet noise and the levels are really got to be jacked up. So does that make it difficult sometimes? That would be a D class if it's like that, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So with a D class EVP, usually I just chuck those in the bin. It's not even worth the effort. If I've got to push through all that noise, then it's I don't really see it as worth my time. And it's a little bit hard as well to sort of show that to people who are skeptics. Nobody's really going to be interested in something you've had to push so hard to try and bring out.
And how do you know sometimes you aren't experiencing audio pareidolia because you're listening to the same file over and over and over again? It might drive you a bit nutty and you could imagine you're hearing things. So is it good to get other people in on it sometimes?
Absolutely, yeah. So when I'm at home, my husband, he's also on the team, and I try and get him to have a bit of a listen as well. And afterwards I show my team, try and get everybody's opinion, because it might be a voice or it might be them just sounding a little bit weird that night. So I always like to get a second opinion on these things.
Okay. The thing that puzzles me is I guess, has anyone given an explanation as to how the mechanism of this recording is happening, or how it's being, how the electronic frequency is being manipulated from somewhere?
Yes, that is a little bit more sort of in the scientific way of things, and my husband actually has a sort of better understanding of that side of it than I do, like the explanation of how it works.
Yeah, because I just wonder, if these spirits are in another realm, how do they manipulate the electromagnetic frequency in our realm?
Well, there's the theory that they affect the magnetic field, and that's how they put the voice on there. There's that theory. There's also the theory that they use psychokinesis to just fiddle with it afterwards. They'd have psychokinesis, same as what a human would have, and in the lab Micro PK has been proven time and time again. That macro, not so much, and this is more along the macro, but...
I did put you on the spot.
Oh, that's okay. But, now, since you've been doing this for a while, how long have you been doing the ghost hunting action?
So we've been with this team for about maybe almost 2 years now, but we've always been interested in the paranormal throughout our lives.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a paranormal interest myself, but I'm such a scaredy cat that this stuff would just really freak me out. But you're working on in an environment where you're potentially meeting dead people all the time.
Yeah, that's right. And I won't lie, originally it did scare me as well. I remember one of my first investigations with the team, my knees were literally shaking. But you do adapt, you do learn ways to sort of, I guess, spiritually protect yourself, and you gain more confidence in that sense. So it's a little less scary these days than what it used to be.
Yeah, do you think we've got anything to fear from these spirits you're bumping into?
I don't think we've got anything to fear more than what we'd have to fear from the living.
Well, of course, I've been looking around to try and get my aura cleansed, but I can't see a clean aura sponge anywhere. But we've got two people here that we've brought along here that you both have huge auras, although one of you is brighter than the others.
Yeah, apparently.
Yes. We've got a photo of your aura. Now, how was that done? This is amazing. Yeah.
He didn't actually tell us how it was done. It just seemed to be a normal camera with some sort of attachment on it. We also had to put our hand on, I don't even know what it was, but it had little metal plates on it. Oh. And yeah, mine wasn't working at first. I had to take my hand back off and then put it back on again. And then this photo just appeared on the screen.
And did you get any reading about your aura at all?
I'd say the accuracy kind of fell on a normal curve. Some things in the centre, just average true of everyone. Some things were pretty spot on, and some things that were hilariously off base. Okay. So that was pretty fun.
So did they kick it off with a good start, or did they say something really like you're actually a man or something? Did they start really badly?
No, it was.
I sense that you're actually a man. No.
No, they weren't reaching too far. A lot of. Is it Barnum statements that's true of everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, Barnum statements. Thank you. That's what it was.
And how do you reckon the colours difference between you? Like, your aura's really red. Yours is kind of a bit of a paley.
Mine's kind of reddy orange. Apparently it means I'm very physical, which is totally not true. Anyone who knows me knows that I am so lazy. So, yeah, that one, not so much.
Okay. And how does your reading stack up, accuracy-wise?
I thought it was pretty accurate. I got the red as well, so the physical and energetic thing, which is, again, not like me. But other things he was saying, like he started mentioning stuff to do with love life that ended up to be quite accurate as well, and I was trying very hard not to give him anything from my end. Oh. But he does then ask a couple of direct questions, so I had to sort of answer them. But, yeah, I thought it was pretty accurate. It was pretty good.
Okay. And how much is an aura reading in this 2016 marketplace?
That was $40. You could get the chakra reading as well, which was $70.
Wow, okay.
I went for the cheap one.
Okay. So do you think it was $40 worth of fun or a little bit overvalued?
$40 one time, sure. Not going to go for it again, I got to say. I've got my one picture, I'm good for now. Good.
And, look, is that a psychic lollipop?
It's a ghost hunting lollipop.
Wow, okay. Now, apparently the UFO people are upstairs. We walked right past them, Richard. They don't have a sign.
Oh. Shall we go and check out the UFO?
I think I will, yeah. And the table has no sign, and it's a whole bunch of people looking at their laptops. That's how you know it's a UFO table.
Let's go.
Larraine, Cilia. I'm the president of the UFO and Paranormal Research Society here in Campbelltown.
Well, do you do a lot of sky watching yourself or not?
Yes, we do. Ourselves and our members. And as you can see, it's pretty much a hot spot in the Campbelltown area.
Yes, and is there a particular time of year that's really good? Is like summer not a good time to be looking? Is it mainly winter that's a good time for looking for anomalies in the sky?
No, I wouldn't say there's any particularly good time. We have members of the group that photograph and video UFOs, unidentified flying objects, not spacecraft.
Oh, look, yes, I'm glad you made that. But yes, because an item can't be explained, well, that's where you have to leave it, really, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so people actually call you and they report things to you, and if you can, you try and see what it is. Say, oh, no, that was a helicopter, or that was that, or no, we don't know what that is.
That's the first port of call, is to actually try and find out what they saw. Whether it's a meteorite or a plane or a helicopter. Then when we can't find what it is, then it's a UFO.
Now, with everyone wandering around with phones in their pockets, has this increased the quality of the photos, or are you just getting a lot more blurry light photos now because everyone's got a phone?
Yeah, unfortunately there are a lot more blurry light photos with the mobile phones, but also the quality of cameras and infrared and night vision cameras is much better nowadays, so there are a lot better quality photos.
All right. Can I have a chat to you for our podcast, if that's all right?
That's our podcast.
Look, I'm just looking at it looks like kind of a...
Explains why you asked.
it looks a little bit like it could be a coffin full of rocks, but it's much more than that in front of me. Yeah.
Comfortable too.
Yes, please explain what we've got here.
So we have a crystal bed healing, right? So what you've got here is each section lines up with a chakra point in the body.
I can see rose quartz.
Yes, rose quartz, amethyst and clear does your crown chakra. It's very gentle and very harmonious.
And how comfortable is it lying on crystals?
Oh, it's actually quite comfortable because they actually sit underneath. Yeah, this is just for display.
We don't want people putting their dirty hands on you. So it's black velvet?
Yes, black velvet, yeah. Very
Okay,
fine.
so how do you stop the rocks sort of falling out on the floor and getting vacuumed up?
Well, there's a base on the bottom.
Right, okay, right.
So there's a hard base underneath. Yep.
I see. And can we just go through the chakras again and why these crystals are for these chakras?
Yes. Okay, so you've got amethyst, rose quartz and clear for your crown. It's a really great combination to do it very gently. All right. Then you've got fluorite for your third eye. That's a very good stone to actually open it up and connect with intuition. Lapis is actually fantastic for your throat chakra because it unblocks your throat and lets you express yourself. All right. Okay. So malachite's actually wonderful for your heart chakra because anything green's usually really good for your heart and it opens it up and opens you up emotionally. Then you have citron, which is really, really good for your solar plexus.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Wow.
So these two colours are quite similar. They're very close in the body. So you've also got your sacral chakra, and that is actually orange citron. Okay. And then you've got red jasper for your root chakra.
Okay, I've never seen that before.
You've never seen red jasper?
Oh, no.
It's actually quite common. Okay, and it's actually quite a grounding stone. And then you've got hematite for your feet.
Oh, okay. So is anything good for the knees? Is hematite for knees too?
You can use it for knees, but you actually put your feet in that to ground.
Is that magnetic hematite or just normal?
No, just normal. Yeah. Okay.
And how many people do you know that have got one of these at home?
No one.
Oh, so wow, okay, because this is pretty special.
Yes, it's custom made. My husband actually made it for me. I showed him what I wanted, and he's talented enough to be able to make it.
That's great. You must be getting a lot of interest in it because it is lovely and soft.
It's very lovely and soft and very special.
We're right in the middle of the Paranormal Expo here. I've been wandering around. We just had a lovely chat to someone about crystals and chakras and things like that. And I believe you offered them the Skeptic's Prize there, Richard.
Yeah, it was interesting. Before we did the interview, I gave them a Skeptic Zone card, and they just looked at it and laughed. It was just amusement to them. They couldn't believe it, ironically enough. And then after they told you all about the crystal bed, I gave them a Skeptic's $100,000 challenge. I said, if anything you tell me just now, or you told Maynard you can prove, you get $100,000. But it's just complete disconnect. They can't understand it.
Well, look, I imagine, like a lot of people do, they view skeptics as being debunkers and poo-pooers and kind of negative folk.
I'm sure you're right. But it's also coupled with the fact, to them, a chakra is just as real as, well, the microphone you're using now is to us. It's part of reality. So for someone to come along and say, I don't think it's real at all, is simply almost incomprehensible.
Well, it's very spiritual here today, and not in a religious way. There's lots of people feeling about their vibrations and talking about things that you can't quite put your finger on.
Yeah, I always wonder about the word spiritual. I just think it just means emotional. That's the closest I can come to it. People this is a very spiritual person. I mean, what, they have strong emotions about things. That's about as close as I can come to it. But it is an emotion because, as Carl Sagan said, you can get a spiritual feeling looking at the sky at night. You know, it's that deep profoundness. But it's just an emotion.
Look, I was having a good chat to the UFO paranormal phenomenon people upstairs, and she's actually had one very good sighting of a UFO, and she actually described it as a spiritual thing, the way it glowed and moved through the air. So you can get all sorts of emotions stirred up by anomalies.
Yeah, I'm sure that it does. I'm sure it does. I get a spiritual feeling looking at a nice glass of champagne at Skeptics in the pub.
Look, and there you were in there being told about the Amityville horror and things like that, and you had your poo-pooing face on. Your poo-pooing face. I could see you going tisk tisk poo-poo inside, Richard.
Yeah, we just heard about a lot of cases of supposed ghosts helping to solve their own crimes, and it was it was interesting, but a little hard to sit through.
And I got really excited because I was half listening and reading about a really exciting UFO case on the Phenomenon website, and then she was talking about foots being washed up. And she mentioned Newcastle. Yes, and I got really excited. I was really hoping that feet had been started to get washed up in Australia, and then it was the Canada one. So I got very disappointed because I was going to run right out and start looking for people's right foot. Because if the left they've got the right foot, it's got to be somewhere.
There was all these pictures of amputated feet decomposing.
Yeah,
and she said the police were stumped, and I think, well, the police aren't the only one who was stumped.
You were just poo-pooing. Now over here we've got colour readings. Now how does that work? She's been busy all day doing readings for people. Is it just another method of doing a cold read kind of thing?
Oh yeah, it's a prop. Okay, tarot cards, astrology, crystals, face reading. It's just the prop, and then it's a prop for cold reading. Yeah, it's pretty mundane.
Now, there's about 20 or so psychics upstairs in 2 different rooms. And have you seen the people lining up? Everybody looks very serious.
They did. We were up there earlier when we were looking for the UFO table. And they're very, very serious, or they're worried, or it's interesting.
And that's why you aren't hearing any of those people on the show, because I find that when I interview the people that are lining up to get psychic readings, they're normally looking for an answer for something, so it's kind of serious for them, so I don't like to even ask them and intrude on their privacy.
Yeah, I think that's very wise. That's fine. If they want to come here for a psychic reading, then that's their affair, I guess.
Now, is there anything here you haven't seen before, Richard?
Ooh, good question. No, we've had a good look around, and I think I've seen it all before, or variations of it. But it's a fun day, it is.
Well, you've got that laser to play for the cat now.
I do. I bought a new laser, which is a multi-beam sort of laser which makes dots.
Yeah, and it fires out a grid, so if something's moving within a space, you've got some photographic evidence of what size it is.
The only thing that's going to be moving in front of that laser is Henrietta and Maud, I think.
That's cool. Oh, look, I'm talking to the person who organises everything, and they're the speaker, they're the spruiker, they're the editor, they're doing security. Who we got here?
We've got Pete Banks.
How's today been? How's it compared to last year?
Oh, it's good. It's good. It's about the same. It's a lot different in the format that we've put on. This year we have free workshops for people, so anybody who pays their $5 entry can attend all different kinds of workshops throughout the day. We've also expanded to the outside.
And I asked someone earlier, who is the big rock star of the ghost hunting world at the moment in this country?
Oh, look, I don't think we have one.
It's kind of like that. They need a big TV show, don't they?
Well, they do, yeah. There isn't really an Australian, ghost hunters kind of thing. There was Haunting Australia, but that was only one season. And, there's been a few little things throughout the years. But, there is no... Let's say I'm the big rock star of the paranormal.
I think you are. You are indeed. You add everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
Look, and speaking of that, you've probably got to go off and make an announcement again, and have a good day, and I'm glad it's got beautiful weather for it.
Oh, no, thank God, yeah.
We're standing next to the big chuff pipe.
We are.
The Cilia chuff pipe.
That's it. That's right.
Oh, there's a lot of happy, smiling faces here in the car because we've had a big day at the Paranormal Expo at Casula. We've just departed where the world's biggest chuff pipe is, just at the side of the Casula powerhouse there, and we've all had a good day. Now, what's been your favourite part of the day?
Oh, getting the aura photography. That was pretty great.
And as you said earlier, it was pretty much 50% wrong.
Yeah, pretty much on average. Some stuff that was on the mark, but mostly it just felt like he was kind of, throwing out things and hoping some of them were going to hit.
Okay, well, that's my theory of dating, but yes, I don't know if it works actually for... It also probably does work for readings as well. What was your favourite bit of the day?
Mine was the same, unfortunately. I very much enjoyed that. I very much enjoy being told that my chakras were the best that he's seen all day.
Really?
Yeah, and I think mine was more accurate. Mine was a more accurate reading. Yeah.
Do you think he was trying to butter you up by praising your chakra?
Quite possibly, yeah. I did tell him that I'd just ended a relationship, so yeah.
So did that affect the chakra at all?
No, the chakra thing was at the start. That was actually quite near the end. I was being quite careful not to give him away, not to give him information, yeah.
So you'd think maybe, when going through the difficulties of the end of a relationship, surely your chakras wouldn't be doing so well. But maybe this means it's right for you.
Yeah, he said it was energy that I can be using to change my life for the better. So I've got all that energy available there to use.
Okay. But he said that after you'd given the relationship information?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember.
So that's a post-diction, not a prediction?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, well, is there something you really expected to see there that you missed out on? Was there something you really hoped to see? I like the colour readings, where the woman who was doing the colour readings, by figuring out what colours you're into, she could tell your future using colours. No?
I don't think there was anything else.
No, there was the colour reading thing. I was kind of interested in having a go at that, but because we'd already done the aura thing, I thought I'll give it a miss this time. But what was it about the green? That she said?
Yes,
you're having a green
colour.
problem.
So she was talking about the different bottles and how they have different colours in them, and you rub them onto your person, but you use them for different things. So if you're having an, I quote, green-related problems, you would use one of the green colour solutions. And we just came away thinking, what are green-related problems?
Gardening, and if you do, if you think you have a green-related problem and you use the green lotion and you've actually got a blue-related problem, what happens?
And what if you're colourblind?
Exactly. All this stuff. Yeah.
These are questions we should have asked.
Yeah, well, the only thing I was disappointed was that there weren't more Skywatchers there, because there was 2 or 3 groups last time. There was only one there this time. But I had a good chat, and I learned about a very famous UFO case called the... I think it's a Novak case, which has 5 minutes of film, multiple witnesses, and it happened in 1999. And I was reading up on that. So read up on the Novak case, people. See what you think. And Richard, where did you fit with these things? You did have your poo-poo face on, like I said, during the Amityville horror story that was being told there, but you didn't say anything. You didn't get up and pull your jacket over your head and walk out backwards like I've seen you do at some of these things.
I didn't, but Lara caught me out. I actually had the laugh once, and I tried to disguise it as a sneeze, actually.
Okay, and what was actually said that made you go, oh, get under the house?
I can't remember the exact bit, but it was when she was saying that she only writes true stuff, not fiction.
Not fiction, that's right. Okay. So maybe it was just a cough and a sneeze.
Well, anyway, people, I've had a lot of fun, despite Richard poo-pooing. And how many $100,000 challenge checks did you give out today, Richard?
Oh, only one to the chakra bed lady.
Oh, look, but she was having none of your negativity. I've got to say, I saw lots of rocks I hadn't seen. I'm still a fan of rose quartz, but can't seem to get past it.
Each to his own, Maynard.
People see me and they go, he's a rose quartz kind of guy. Well, onwards and upwards as we head off in the Hyundai of truth into the sunset now. And thank you all. And, of course, you're listening to
The Skeptic Zone.
Hej svenska skeptiker! Du vet väl att vetenskap och folkbildning inte bara är trogna anhängare av The Skeptic Zone utan också arrangerar föredrag, pop science quiz och skeptikerträffar runt om i Sverige. Gå in på www.vof.se för att spana in vad våra 7 olika lokalföreningar runt om i landet har på gång. Och om du bor i en stad där det inte finns någon lokalförening, varför inte starta en själv? Jag pratar med dig, Umeå. Hello all skeptics in Sweden! I'm sure you already know that the Swedish Skeptics Association not only is a big fan of the Skeptic Zone, but that we also organize lectures, pop science quiz and Skeptics in the Pub all over the country. Go to www.vof.se to see what our 7 local chapters are up to. And if you live in a place where there is no local chapter, why not start one yourself? I'm talking to you, Umeå.
Thank you for listening to the Skeptic Zone. Now, those people in Sydney, please come along and be part of the fun. The Occidental Hotel, Thursday, October the 6th, starting at 6 o'clock, for the Skeptic Zone Live. Join me and Maynard and lots of Skeptic Zone reporters for a live taping of the show. Prize giveaways on the night. We have some books, courtesy of Alan Unwin, to give away. I think we've got some tickets to give away to upcoming shows and things like that. And our special guest will be none other than Dr. Brad Mackay from Embarrassing Bodies Down Under, also a member of the Skeptics, who will be chatting to Maynard about the recent Burning Man Festival. For more information, head to meetup.com/ostskeptics, and the event will be at the Occidental Hotel, which is 43 York Street, and for those people in Sydney, that's just behind Wynyard train station. Entry is free, but if you put your name down at Meetup, we'll know you're coming along. But bring some friends anyway. Now, if you need another fix, if you need another podcasting fix, head over to maynard.com.au and subscribe to Maynard's podcast, Planet Maynard, which includes, of course, Bunga Bunga, the podcast he does with Tim Ferguson, but all sorts of other things too. It's a little bit random. It's a little bit of a surprise every week to see what comes out from Planet Maynard. We have Behind the Scenes with Spin Out, which is the recent hit movie here in Australia. We've got interviews with other DJs, what Double J should sound like, of course, news about that, and much more. Yeah, maynard.com.au. If you're not subscribed, please do so. And people like Maynard really get a nice warm feeling when they eat hot food paid for by Patreons who support podcasts. Don't be shy. Good old Maynard. Yes, maynard.com.au for lots more. In fact, just between you and me, I've heard lately, Maynard has dug up a lot of archival stuff he's done over the years. He's been baking tapes. No, don't send the police around. I think it's completely illegal. He's been baking old audio tapes to bring them back to life. But I'm sure Maynard will tell us more about that in the coming weeks. I think he might even mention it at the live show. But for this week, until we see many of you, I hope, at the live show in a few days' time, and the rest of you will hear it on the podcast, this is Richard Saunders, signing off from Sydney, Australia. You've been listening to the Skeptic Zone podcast. Visit our website at www.skepticzone.tv for contacts, an archive of all episodes since 2008, and our online store. Please support the Skeptic Zone by following us on Twitter @SkepticZone, liking us on Facebook, and leaving a review on iTunes. You can also show your support by subscribing via PayPal for as little as 99 cents a week. The Skeptic Zone is an independent production. The views and opinions expressed on the Skeptic Zone are not necessarily those of Australian Skeptics Inc. or any other skeptical organisation.